All right, guys, what is going on, Fantasy Fiends? It is Wyatt with the Fantasy Football Addicts back, and today we are going to be doing my first player profile for you guys, and it's going to be over a rookie running back not named Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's going to be over the man taken by the Colts, Jonathan Taylor. Super excited about Jonathan Taylor. That's what I'll say first. Like, Clyde is my number one rookie, obviously, and he is for a lot of people just because I think he's going to have a a huge role right away with very little contest from, Damian Williams. But I think Jonathan Taylor is right there next to him. Jonathan Taylor is just right under there. And the only reason is because there's a little competition, but he will take over. So it's just a matter of, whatever. And in all honesty, I think I like Jonathan Taylor's situation more than I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But we know what we're getting out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire right away. In my opinion, a lot of people don't agree, but that's what it is. Anyway, this is about Jonathan Taylor, so that's what we're going to focus on. All right, we'll start with his background. Absolute beast in college, 3 years at Wisconsin. First 2 years, just could not catch a pass to save his life. I mean, he could catch a pass. He was just not very involved. His target share was 4.9%, and that's not great. He didn't catch a single receiving touchdown through his first 2 years. However, he did rush for nearly 2,000 yards his first year and 2,000 yards both his second and third year. Now, once he hit his third year, he made it a point to say, hey, I need to learn how to catch some footballs in the passing game so that way the NFL looks at me. And he did just that. He over doubled his target share and went to 10.9% and caught 5 touchdowns while still rushing for over 2,000 yards. The man is an absolute animal. He's a pure runner, a great talent, and he got picked by the best team and best landing spot possible for him as a running back because they have the best O-line in the NFL in the Colts. They're young, they're fantastic, and they're going to be there for a long time, along with Jonathan Taylor. He's going to be an absolute animal. Now, you also have Philip Rivers dump off God there. He's going to make JT look like a catching superstar the way he did Austin Eckler. Now, is JT going to have the same role? No. He's going to be a running back to run the ball. But in a situation where Philip Rivers has to audible out, or, they want to just throw in some different looks, JT's going to catch some balls because Philip Rivers has a noodle arm. Now, he's a smart guy. He does throw some picks, but he's a potential Hall of Famer, and he's going to get the job done. I think he's a huge upgrade from Brissett in overall, completion of the offense, and I think it's going to bode well for them, and they very well might win their division this year if Derrick Henry is not as effective as he was last year, and I don't think he will be. So we've got the positives. We've got the great O-line and the quarterback that work wonders for JT. Now, there are some negatives, and that first one is that he does have a little bit of competition in Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack was the guy last year. He's got one more year in his contract. He's a very similar runner to Jonathan Taylor in the fact that he does not catch passes. Now, he is worse than Jonathan Taylor in that aspect because the man does not catch any passes at all. It's absolutely terrible. His target share might as well be negative. So you have Nyheim Hines there, who is there to just catch passes. He doesn't really run the ball. He's a pass-catching back. He's James White, but he runs the ball less. So you have a guy who's taking away, some serious PPR points from JT, but I don't hate the situation more because he's there. I think it might actually help JT because they're going to throw in some different looks and he's going to catch some passes. So you've got a running back who's there to catch passes and a running back who can run the ball but isn't near the talent and is going to be gone after his year of his contract is up. So I think for redraft purposes, you don't want to reach a ton when drafting Jonathan Taylor. But I do think that he has the potential to win someone a league. If you take an elite running back and then land Jonathan Taylor, you might have 2 top 5 backs. You really might, because if Jonathan Taylor takes over, like in training camp, because they're like, this guy's just an absolute animal, which he is, then they're going to use him a ton, and you've got the O-line, and you've got a good fluid offense and a good team, and he's going to get the work, and he's going to do well. But you also have the possibility of him waiting, a month to 8 weeks to really take over a majority of the snap share and just become an elite guy. That being said, you still have an elite guy the back half of the season who's going to be, I think once he gets the majority of the snap share, Jonathan Taylor is a top 10 back for sure. That being said, I think it's great value taking him if you're confident. I think most people are confident going into the draft. It's after the draft where you're not really feeling confident. But I think Jonathan Taylor is one of those picks that really, like, you'll draft and you'll be like, okay, like that's a question mark. I don't feel great about it. But then the season, you're gonna get halfway in the season and be like, wow, what a great pick, because he's going to anchor your lineup. I really do believe that. Now, for dynasty purposes, wow, like exponentially increase, draft this man, reach for this man, like get him on your team if you can without losing too much. But I find very little to be too much, because he is going to win you dynasty championships for years, for a decade. He is, I mean, I'm barring any serious injury, this man is set up as well as you can be to be a successful running back in the NFL. I do think that he's going to develop a receiving game over time, more than he showed in college. And he showed in 1 year he can drastically turn it around. So I think in PPR formats, he's fine. In standard, he's probably going to be an absolute goon. Whatever format you're playing, I think you could reach a little bit in dynasty leagues for Jonathan Taylor, and I don't think you'll regret it. So overall consensus, draft Jonathan Taylor. He's right there with Clyde for me. If I could get Clyde and JT on the same team, I would be ecstatic, because you're going to run dynasty leagues for years. And then for redraft, once again, like, just draft him. I don't think his ADP is like the value is going to kill you there to take him. And I think he is a league winner as opposed to a lot of the guys around him. So you can take a guy with, a solid floor, but he's not really going to help you win. You can take a guy who's gonna, fill the role for you and get, 10 points a week. Or Jonathan Taylor will win you a league. I don't think he'll lose you a league. He might, he might lose you a couple weeks because you took him instead of someone else who's getting you 15 points a game in the first couple weeks. But I think he will win you a league. So my advice is draft Jonathan Taylor. I suggest you take it. And when you do, and you win your league this year, and you win your league for the next 5 years, 10 years, come back, put it in the comments and say, thank you, Wyatt, because you're an absolute genius. Because a lot of people, they see the benefits of Jonathan Taylor, but people get so caught up in, oh, he's a rookie. Yeah, everyone's a rookie at first. You don't know what's going to happen, but rookie running backs can break out right out of the gate, and then you're too far behind. You could have taken him, but instead you took a guy who isn't helping your lineup anymore, like who doesn't have the value. I think Jonathan Taylor will, at the very least, for you. If you're nervous about it, you're like, I drafted him, Wyatt, like you said, but like I'm still nervous. It's week 3. He doesn't have the starting role. Like, boom, he's going to have a big week eventually. I'm telling you, it's there. Draft him. That's all I've got to say. All right, that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a little bit inspired to draft Jonathan Taylor if you haven't already had your draft. And if you had, maybe you're inspired to trade for him, because I really do think there's good value in that. Look for more content from the Fantasy Football Addicts. Dawson and Mick are grinding. I am as well. We are looking forward to absolutely just putting out a ton of content for you guys, because we really do love it, and discussing football with each other and hearing what y'all have to say. So have a good one. Win some leagues. See ya.